Welcome to Capsulora.
Ooh, our very first deep dive.
Yeah, for our very first deep dive.
It's exciting.
We're cracking open the intriguing world of time capsules. I'm Arthur, your host.
And I'm Jessica.
And I'm joined by our resident expert, Jessica.
Hello, everybody.
Time capsules.
Yeah, what are they all about?
They're like messages in a bottle thrown into the ocean of time, just waiting to be discovered and decoded.
Exactly.
Right.
I think what's so captivating is the mystery.
Yes.
It's like opening a window into a different era.
Yes.
A snapshot of how people lived, what they valued, and what they hoped for the future.
Absolutely. It's like holding a piece of history in your hands.
Mm.
And speaking of history, I was reading recently about the opening of the Kansas City World War I Memorial Time Capsule.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about an adventure.
I was reading about that, too.
They had to drill through 18 inches of concrete and limestone just to reach it.
And then they brought in the bomb squad.
Right.
Yeah.
They knew it contained old film.
Right. And they were worried about it being flammable.
Wow.
Talk about dedication to preserving the past.
It makes you realize that these capsules are more than just containers.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like sacred objects, carefully guarded,
Yeah.
painstakingly retrieved.
And once they finally got it open,
Yeah.
you know what they found?
What?
A humorous out-of-office style memo from General Pershing himself.
Oh, we're...
Apparently, the Time Capsule Committee had invited him to contribute,
Wow.
but he never replied.
That's hilarious.
Right.
It's like finding a little wink from the past, a reminder that even historical figures had their quirks and foibles.
It definitely humanizes the whole process.
Yeah, it makes you feel more connected to those who came before us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the fascinating things about time capsules.
Okay.
They can act as memoirs, preserving memories and stories for future generations.
Right.
But they also offer glimpses into how people predicted the future and what they chose to preserve.
So we've got three key aspects here: memoir, prediction, and preservation.
Right.
Let's start with that first one, memoir. What can these time capsules tell us about the people who created them?
Well, let's go back to that Kansas City capsule.
Okay.
They found a letter from President Coolidge
Okay.
commending the community for its patriotic spirit. You can practically feel the post-war pride and sense of unity just radiating from that letter.
It's like stepping back in time and feeling the emotional pulse of that era.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then there were everyday objects like printing plates from the local newspaper. These seemingly mundane items suddenly become windows into daily life in 1919.
You start to imagine people reading those newspapers, going about their lives, completely unaware that their world would one day be scrutinized by curious folks like us.
And that's the magic of time capsules.
Yeah.
They allow us to connect with the past on a personal level. It's not just about dates and battles. It's about the hopes, dreams, and everyday experiences of real people.
Okay, so time capsules as memoirs.
Right.
What about prediction? How have people in the past envisioned the future?
That's where things get really interesting.
Oh.
The National Museum of Australia actually has a fantastic guide for creating time capsules. And they pose some thought-provoking questions about this very topic.
Like what?
Well, they encourage you to think about how language might evolve, what technology might look like, and even how everyday life might change.
It's like a thought experiment, right?
Yeah.
Trying to step outside our present moment and imagine all the possible paths the future could take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while some predictions might seem outlandish or even comical in hindsight, others can be surprisingly accurate.
Wow.
It's fascinating to see what people got right, what they missed, and why.
But ultimately, it's not just about getting the predictions right or wrong.
No.
It's about that act of imagining, of daring to dream about what could be.
Absolutely.
And, this leads us perfectly to our third aspect, preservation.
Right.
What do we choose to save for the future?
Yes.
And how do we make sure it survives the journey through time?
That's a critical question.
Yeah.
Organizations like the National Archives of Australia and the Library of Congress offer some great guidelines on this.
Okay.
They emphasize choosing durable materials and using appropriate containers, especially for long-term burial.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want your precious time capsule turning into a soggy mess a few years down the line. But what about digital stuff?
Oh,
We live in a digital age,
we do.
but technology becomes obsolete so quickly.
It does.
How do you preserve something like a smartphone or a digital photo for future generations?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And
Right.
honestly, there's no easy answer. We need to consider things like file format, obsolescence, data degradation, and the ever-changing landscape of technology.
Yeah.
There are strategies like format migration and emulation.
Right.
but it's a constantly evolving
It
challenge.
makes you wonder if those floppy disks and zip drives from the 90s are just ticking time bombs of lost data waiting to be discovered by some baffled archaeologist of the future.
It's a real concern.
Yeah.
But even beyond the technical challenges, there's the question of what we choose to preserve in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
What objects, documents, or digital files do we deem worthy of representing our time for future generations?
Right.
What story do we want to tell?
It's like curating a museum exhibit.
Yeah,
But instead of showcasing the past, you're crafting a message for the future.
exactly.
And speaking of crafting, I was looking through that National Museum of Australia guide, and they have some really fun and creative ideas for personal time capsule contents.
Oh, I love that guide.
Yeah.
They have some great suggestions. What caught your eye?
They suggest things like photographs, letters to your future self drawings, even hand-carved amulets.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder that time capsules aren't just for grand historical events or institutional archives.
Right.
They can be deeply personal and reflective endeavors.
And what's amazing is that even everyday objects can hold deep personal significance.
Yeah.
A simple toy from your childhood, a handwritten note from a loved one. These things can evoke a flood of memories and emotions years later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about the object itself, but about the stories and emotions it represents. It's about capturing those intangible aspects of our lives that might otherwise be lost to time.
Yeah.
And this brings us to something really exciting.
Wow.
Here at Capsulora, we believe that everyone should experience the power of creating a time capsule. It's a journey of self-discovery, a chance to reflect on your values, your hopes, and your dreams. It's a way to connect with your past, make sense of your present, and imagine a brighter future.
And the best part is you don't have to go it alone.
You don't.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
We're building a vibrant community of time capsule enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And we'd love for you to join us. You can find us on Instagram at insert Instagram link here.
We'll be sharing inspiration tips and stories from fellow time travelers like yourself.
We can't wait to see what you create.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dive more into this world of time capsules with you.
Me too.
But you know what I'm kind of curious about is
Yeah.
we often talk about what goes into a time capsule,
Mm-hmm.
but we rarely discuss the WHY.
That's true.
What drives people to create these messages for the future in the first place?
That's such an important question.
Yeah.
The motivations behind time capsules are as diverse as the people who create them.
I bet.
Sometimes it's about commemoration.
Right.
That Kansas City World War I memorial capsule we talked about, it was all about preserving the memory of their community's contributions to the war effort.
It's like a collective act of remembrance,
Yeah.
ensuring that future generations understand the sacrifices made and the lessons learned.
Exactly. But then you have personal time capsules, often created for loved ones or even for one's future self. These are deeply personal endeavors filled with objects and messages that hold special meaning for the creator. It's almost like bottling up a piece of your heart and sending it through time.
I love that analogy.
Right.
It really captures the sentimentality and emotional weight that often goes into these personal capsules.
Yeah.
And it speaks to that very human desire to connect with others, even across vast stretches of time.
Absolutely. It's about wanting to be remembered, wanting to share your story, and leave a mark on the world. And sometimes those marks are left intentionally for communities. Think about those community time capsules that aim to capture a snapshot of a specific place and time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, this is who we were, this is what we valued, and this is what we hoped for.
Precisely. Those capsules often reflect a shared identity, a sense of pride in their community, and aspirations for the future. It's fascinating to think about what people choose to include in those community capsules. What do they deem worthy of representing their time and place for future generations?
I imagine it's a real challenge trying to distill the essence of a community into a handful of objects and documents. You'd have to consider local industries, cultural traditions, significant events. It's a big responsibility.
It is. Yeah. And it makes you wonder what future generations will make of our choices right.
Yeah.
Will they find our relics insightful? Or will they scratch their heads and wonder what we were thinking?
That's the beauty of it.
I know.
We can only speculate. But the act of creating a time capsule, regardless of its contents, is a powerful statement in itself.
It is.
It says that we believe in the future, that we care about those who will come after us, and that we want to share our stories.
Beautifully put. It reminds me of something we were discussing earlier about that National Museum of Australia time capsule guide. They encourage people to consider how things might change in the future. things like language technology in everyday life.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thought experiment to
Yep.
step outside our present moment and imagine all the possible paths the future could take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while some predictions from past time capsules might seem outlandish or even comical in hindsight, others can be surprisingly accurate. It's fascinating to see what people got right, what they missed, and why.
But ultimately, it's not about being a fortune teller.
No, it's about engaging in that act of imagining, of daring to dream about what could be. What if we took that a step further and thought about the bigger picture?
Okay.
What if creating a time capsule wasn't just about preserving the past, but also about inspiring the future?
I love where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Imagine if we use time capsules as a way to encourage reflection on the challenges we face today and to spark creative solutions for a better tomorrow.
It would be incredible.
Yeah.
Think about it. A time capsule filled not just with mementos, but with messages of hope, with blueprints for a sustainable future, with ideas for solving global problems.
Right.
We could encourage people to include their ideas for combating climate change, their visions for a more equitable society,
Yeah.
their dreams for a world without poverty or war.
It would be a way to harness the collective wisdom and imagination of our time and send it forward as a gift to future generations. And who knows, maybe by considering these challenges and brainstorming solutions today, we can actually start building that better future right now.
It's a powerful thought, isn't it?
Yeah. That the act of creating a time capsule could be a catalyst for action, a way to bridge the gap between past, present, and future.
Absolutely. And it brings us back to that personal connection we talked about earlier.
Right.
Time capsules aren't just about grand narratives, they're about individual stories. And each of us has a story to tell and a role to play in shaping the future.
Beautifully said. And that's why we believe everyone should experience the power of creating their own time capsule. It's a journey of self-discovery, a chance to reflect on your values, your hopes, and your dreams.
It's a way to connect with your past, make sense of your present, and imagine a brighter future. And to help you along that journey, we invite you to join our Capsulora community on Instagram. We can't wait to see what you create and hear about your time capsule adventures.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have a
exploring the multifaceted nature of time capsules as memoirs, as predictions, and as testaments to the art of preservation. We've delved into the motivations behind their creation and contemplated their potential to inspire future generations. But before we wrap up our first ever Capsulora deep dive, we want to leave you with a final, thought-provoking question.
intriguing.
If you were to create a time capsule today, what single object would best represent this moment in history?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's like trying to capture the essence of our time in a single artifact.
Right?
So many possibilities swirling around.
Oh, no, will you?
What object pops into your mind?
Yeah.
Honestly, my first thought goes to something like a smartphone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's become such an integral part of our lives, how we communicate, access information, document our experiences. It feels almost symbolic of our hyper-connected, technologically driven world.
That's a really insightful choice.
Yeah.
But it also raises the question of obsolescence.
What happens when that smartphone is nothing more than a dusty relic? Could future generations even know what to do with it?
That's true.
Eh?
Maybe we need something more timeless, something that speaks to the human experience regardless of technological advancements.
Exactly. How about something from the natural world? Maybe a seed.
Ooh.
It symbolizes growth resilience, the potential for renewal, and connects us back to the environment, something that's increasingly important in our rapidly changing world.
I love that. A seed carries so much hope and potential. It's a reminder that even in challenging times, there's always the possibility for new beginnings.
Yeah, it is. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got the smartphone representing our technological prowess, and the seed symbolizing hope and resilience. Two very different objects, but both offering a glimpse into the complexities of our time.
And that's what's so wonderful about this question.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's about personal reflection, about what resonates most deeply with you and what story you want to tell about our time.
Exactly. What object would you choose for your time capsule? What message do you want to send to the future? We encourage you to share your thoughts with us on Instagram link here.
We'd love to hear your ideas and continue this conversation.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the captivating world of time capsules. We hope it sparked your curiosity and maybe even inspired you to create your own time capsule.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep those time capsules coming.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.